Alrighty, let's see what we have today. Lots of draw. Swashbuckler, Advisor, Moat, Imperial Envoy. There's the Lich is also draw at quite a hefty cost. Villages though. Where's the villages? Once again, Lich is a village. Does Lich even count as a village? It says +2 actions on it, but you lose a whole turn, and you get +1 action per turn. So I'm not even sure if Lich qualifies. Actually, there's one technical village, and I wonder if it's worth it. So we have League of Shopkeepers. After playing a liaison, if you have 5 or more favors, +1 coin, and if 10 or more, +1 action, +1 buy. So if you can get to 10 favors, your students become a village because they're +1 action naturally, and they give +2 actions. 10 favors is a lot. For student especially, like some of the liaisons can get favors a little bit more easily. Here you have to trash 10 total cards. Like if you trash your 7 starting cards, your 7 starting coppers, you'd have 7. To gain and trash 3 more favors, and then a student would become a village. I think the big problem with that first is you have max 4 students. Like there's only 4 in the pile. The other cards in the wizard's pile are not liaisons, so they wouldn't qualify for the +1 action effect. If they were, this would look a lot better. And also, the trashing isn't optional, so you'd have to, even once you've got the 10 favors, you have to line up student and something you're okay trashing, trash that, and then you get +1 action out of it. And I mean, I don't know, playing an Imperial Envoy is a decently large upside. I don't know if it's worth going to all that effort, though. That's a big cost. There's not a negligible cost. I feel like that's probably not worth doing. If you're not doing that, the simpler deck that jumps out to me is there's Fiatum and then there's Sculptor, which can gain silvers easily and non-terminally. It can also gain Fiatum later. So you have to play with like a bunch of Sculptors in Fiatum, and that deck doesn't really draw the deck or anything. It seems okay. Swashbuckler, does that have any synergies here? You play like 1 Advisor and then a Swashbuckler. I don't know that that's a very strong combination. Yeah. If you're really ambitious, you could play with 4 copies of Student, and then you have some Advisors for non-terminal draw, and then you could play like Imperial Envoy for plus buy and some extra draw. Maybe play a change at the end of that. I don't know. The engine seems more interesting, but also a little bit speculative. Maybe I'll try that afterwards. I think it's just going to be the Sculptor thing. I'm a coward. So I just really want a bunch of Sculptors and then some Fiatums. And I think generally if you're playing this deck, like you end up putting a bunch of silvers in your deck anyway, so hitting Province pretty often is not uncommon. So I think the 4 is probably change, turn an estate into a Sculptor and go from there. On 4/3 you could consider change plus Foresight. Sounds pretty good. Change, Foresight. You'll probably not be able to afford Foresight again on turn 3, but that would be, I think, better than open one of these. I'm going to say Student is probably still better than Ratcatcher for trashing the treasures. Not 100% on that. Take a Sculptor. It's better to trash an estate here. Probably. Yeah. Well, I already have Terminal Collision, which is fine. I can get a silver, but I'd rather bank up those villagers if that were possible. I guess copper into another Sculptor. Conjurer is not terrible here. I guess if you're playing with Conjurer, you're getting a 4 every single turn, which is pretty good, but you're never getting villagers off of your sculptors, which means the change becomes a dead card. I don't know. I would consider Conjurer. The bot can't rotate the pile, so I'll reconsider that in a minute. Bot just gains a gold. Curious. Silver. Silver. And just more sculptors, I think. I really wanted this change to line up with the estate, but it wasn't happening. Province already. Bold. Early provinces, I don't think scare me very much. Given time, I think the Fiat deck, I presume, still wants some number of provinces, but you score plenty of points off of this. Alright, I think this is the third shuffle in a row that the change in the estate have been in opposite hands. One day that estate is going to become something beautiful. Actually, I'm not that much a fan of the sculpture art. Like if you look at it up close, you can tell what's going on. The sculpture is this thing down here, and there's the sculpture. But whenever I look at it just at a distance, like when it's in the pile, to me it looks like a lady in a long flowing dress sitting on the pedestal, which is not in fact what is going on. Like I envisioned this whole thing to be the sculptor. Which card in the... Oh, I thought I was still waiting for the bot. I was making small talk for no reason. Oh, I didn't account for... I hit the 5 favor mark, so I got 1 extra coin that I didn't need. Sad change. Still doesn't get played. At least I get a villager. I think very soon I should consider Conjurer. For purposes of gaining Fiatum, Conjurer is as good as Sculptor is, because like it doesn't matter that Sculptor gains to your hand, and Sculptor doesn't give you a village or a villager for gaining a Fiatum, and Conjurer just puts itself back into your hand every single turn. So I think Conjurer sounds pretty good right about now. Maybe now, in fact. Yeah. Ideally, my change and my estate are finally going to be in the same hand with, what, like 50% confidence? Give or take. I'll have to burn a villager resolving that terminal collision, but I can live with that. One day in the far distant future, an estate will be trashed. Do I actually want to buy provinces? Probably yes. The trouble, of course, is lowering the province pile before I can fully do the Fiatum stuff. Like, not taking provinces and just going for Fiatums gives me more time to build up the value of these, which might be better. I wonder if is Imperial Envoy any good? It's plus buy. I don't know. Province, Sculptor. I don't think Envoy is the answer. Just another Fiatum. I don't think the Fiatum is getting to more than 6. So province is more points. But if, for example, I don't take this province, I might have more time to bump up the Fiatums than like a 5-point Fiatum plus an extra turn to gain some silvers. I think I probably just shouldn't touch the provinces is the answer. Change. I'm really disappointed. This thing has trashed 1 estate. I opened with it. I opened with the change. And I've killed 1 estate with it. It's probably worth to change the silver just into a fiatum. What's the bot's deck look like? Bot does not really have deck control. How good does it change? I should have a better conception of what's in the bot's deck. The bot did not play a conjurer. It has a conjurer in its deck, but it's somehow gotten lost. Like, as long as you play your conjurer every turn, it's always in your hand. But at some point, the bot, I guess, just didn't play it. So it doesn't necessarily have a conjurer in hand. But it also didn't play... I don't know. I'm just going to, when in doubt, discard the draw card. It had a change in hand either way, so probably the 9 change wasn't all that important. And I think I buy duchies now? Like, I'm at the top of a shuffle, so any sculptor I buy might not even get seen before the game ends, and if it is, it's only once. I can gain the Fiata off of the Conjurer. Is silver on... Silver can't be on average more points than another duchy. Like, even once I have 8 Fiata, every 1 silver is, like, bumping up the value of my Fiata by, on average, what, like 2 2/3 points? So yeah, I think duchies just has to... Unless I know that I'm, like... I should pay attention to when my Fiatum points bump up. Because, like, if it's the last turn and I'm 1 silver away, then silver could be better than duchy, for example. Alright, another province. Yeah, so like stuff like this is making me feel like skipping the province is probably the right move. The pot is aggressively lowering the provinces, but it's having to cannibalize its deck a bit to do so, taking a bunch of debt, and I think that just having like an extra province in the pile makes a big difference in terms of how long I have to play the game. I think that last one was a bump up, right? Let me just double check. Yeah. So right now I'm at a multiple of 3 silvers. 12 silvers it seems. By 1. Duchy. Presumably by foresight here, I would think. Yeah. Fiatum. I guess I might as well buy this Fiatum since I can't buy duchy. Fiatum. And at this point, I think I'm in a pretty solid position. Silver. Silver. Do I even play this change? Probably not. I don't really know. I don't think it matters too much, so I won't think about it very hard. Guess now I can take a province. Silver. Silver. 2 extra silvers won't matter, so I guess estate it is. And a province. Even with the change being a little bit curmudgeonly, it seems like the Fiatum thing was good enough to outscore whatever the bot was doing. Just change and nothing else? I know the bot really likes his remodel variants, but I don't... If I were playing big money, I mean, it's like, ignore the... my deck basically was big money, I guess, when you think about it. But, like, ignore the Fiatum pile. I think you'd still play with Sculptor. Just like a silver gainer is still a pretty good card to have. A non-terminal silver gainer especially, in a big money deck. Probably big money, plays with some number of sculptors. Maybe a swashbuckler? I mean, you probably still want to change. I don't know. I would want more than just a change in that deck, basically. I did have a conjurer at some point, right? Yeah, I don't know. Conjurer seems worse than sculptor to me for those purposes.